This is JT Taylor with Hedgeye Potomac with your weekend review. We'll go through the state of the Republican race, the Democratic race, and then Bloomberg as an independent. First, the Republican debate. In Trump's absence, no one really emerged from the muddle as a clear alternative to Donald Trump. It was a remarkable departure from the previous debates, and there was actually no excitement, no controversy. And aside from a combative exchange on immigration reform, the candidates held their fire, cognizant of the fact that Iowa is 3 days away and they didn't want to go too negative, too close to the Iowa vote. We suspect that this debate largely was tuned out, not just because of Donald Trump's antics, but also because of the Iowa-Maryland basketball game, which we suspect had more eyeballs on it than the debate itself. Trump went for a two-point conversion with his decision to skip the debate. It was a genius move if it worked, and a massive blunder if it didn't. He wasn't on the stage, but the issues driving his candidacy and appeal were front and center: immigration, ISIS, and national security. Ted Cruz ended up as the biggest loser of the night as a result, and that may in part have been Trump's strategy going into debate week. I put Rubio in the draw category as it wasn't his best performance, and he's still struggling with the immigration issue. But if Cruz is diminished over the next week or two, especially if Trump wins Iowa, the so-called establishment will see him as the only alternative candidate to Trump, and the establishment will quickly need to coalesce behind him. Now on to the Democrats. After widespread Democratic backlash on her attacks on Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton seems to have gotten the message, and she softened her tone toward him, saving her toughest barbs for the Republican field. The polls show Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in a dead heat. Hillary needs a win here, or the narrative for the ensuing 2 weeks will be her growing vulnerability and the countless parallels to her devastating loss to Barack Obama in 2008. It's clear by now that she'll lose to Sanders in New Hampshire, but the big question is by how much. Nonetheless, we maintain that after the Iowa and New Hampshire votes, the Democratic Party will start to think with its head rather than its heart. Finally, the Bloomberg effect. Bloomberg is only going to do this if it's Sanders versus Cruz or Trump. And despite the hype, in my opinion, it's still highly unlikely that Bernie Sanders will be the Democratic nominee. Bloomberg has gone down this road before and realizes that a third-party bid is next to impossible with this thing called the Electoral College looming. Not to mention the fact that we're dealing with a very polarized country right now, and his slot is very narrow. Also, Bloomberg needs to start the process now to qualify in the ballot for all 50 states, and has given himself a deadline of March to make his decision. This is JT Taylor with Hedgeye Potomac. Thanks for tuning in.